Okay. Here are the answers for the chapter 4 closure. Problem number 472 says examine the pattern below and then complete parts A through F. So this first part says draw figure 0 and figure 4. So figure 0 looked like this. It was just 5 straight tiles going across. And then figure 4 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was 13 tiles going across. And then going up. It looked like that. And then going down. It looked like that. Part B said make a table. So 0 had 5 in it, 1, 11, because I'm going up by 6 each time. 2 was 17, 3 was 23, 4 was 29, and 5 was 35. So then part C said write a rule. So it's going up by 6 each time. So it's y equals 6x, and it started at 5. D says on graph paper, draw a graph. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It started at 5, went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my graph would have looked like that. What's the growth? It's 6. Predict how many figures 100 have. So I did 100 times 6 plus 5, so it would be 605. Problem 473 says, are the two expressions below equal? Show how you know. So I combined like terms. So I did 2x minus 3x. So I ended up with 4x squared minus x minus 5 on this side. And then 6x squared is 4x squared minus x minus 5. So yes. And how I knew, I combined like terms. Problem 474, give 2 ways you can tell that the rule y equals 2x minus 3 does not match the graph. So number 1, the graph, it didn't start at negative 3. So it didn't cross the y-axis at negative 3. And it's growing by negative 2x. It is growing by negative 2x, not 2. Not x, though. You don't need the x. So make a graph that matches it. So a lot of us forgot to do this, so it should have been at negative 3 and gone up positive 2 over 1. So you should have drawn a graph like this. Find a rule that represented the graph. Well, it crossed at positive 3 and had a negative 2x, so it would have been y equals negative 2x plus 3. So it's a little bit opposite of it. Problem 475 says consider the rule y equals 5x plus 7. How many tiles are in figure 0? The correct answer was 7. Which figure has 37 tiles? So you do 37 equals 5x plus 7. We got 30 equals 5x. Divided by 5. It's figure 6. And then C says in the equation y equals mx plus b, what M stands for the growth. and B is the figure 0. Problem number 4-76. Molly read 75 pages of the latest thriller mystery novel in 45 minutes. What was her unit rate? If she continues to read at this rate, how long did it take her to read the entire 425-page novel? So her unit rate would have been 75 divided by 45, which she's reading at a rate of 1 2/3 pages per minute. And then to figure out when she'll finish, I did 75 over 45 equals 425 over x. I got 75x, 19,125. And it turns out it'll take her 255 minutes. Problem 77, solve this equation. So I started by distributing the negative. So I got 2 minus 3x plus 4 equals 2x minus 9. So I got negative 3x plus 6. So I subtracted 2x. Negative 5x plus 6 equals negative 9. I got negative 5x equals negative 15. So I got x equals positive 3. Problem 478, simplify the expressions if possible. So in this one, I combined all my x's and got 5x minus 2x, or 3x minus 3 plus 3x squared. For b, I had y squared, so I got negative 2y squared. 2x minus x plus 3 is going to be 4x minus 9. C, I have no other x squared. C is already simplified. And then D, 20 plus 10 is going to give me 30. This is going to give me a minus xy, and these cancel out. And then it says evaluate the expressions for an A and B where x is 5 and y is negative 2. So A, I got 3x squared plus 3x minus 3. And B, I got negative 2y squared plus 4x minus 9. So for A, they were all x, so I just plugged in 5. So I got 5 squared times 3 plus 3 times 5 minus 3, 25, 75 plus 15 minus 3. I ended up with 87 as my answer. For B, I got negative 2 times negative 2 squared plus 4 times 5 minus 9. So I got positive 4 times negative 2, or negative 8, plus 20 minus 9. So 12 minus 9, which gives me 3. Problem 79, complete the table for the linear pattern below, and then I have to answer the questions about it. So I know 0 is negative 2, 1 is 3, so I'm growing by 5. So 8 would be 13, and 4 would be 18. So going down by 5, I'd get negative 12, negative 17, negative, oops, skipped a line. So I got negative 7, negative 12, negative 17, negative 22. So A says, what's the y-intercept and the pattern of growth? So my y-intercept is negative 2, and I'm growing by 5. What's the rule? Y equals 5x minus 2 is my rule. And if the output is negative 52, what was the input? So I did negative 52 equals 5x minus 2, so I added 2. So I got negative 50 equals 5x. So x equals negative 10. Problem 80, for this problem below, define a variable, write an equation and solve it. Use the 5T process if needed to help set up your equation. So it says for the school play, the advanced tickets cost $3 while tickets at the door cost $5. 30 more tickets were sold at the door than in advanced. So if I made X the number of tickets sold in advance, X plus 30 would be the ones at the door, and 2,630 were collected. So it's going by cost. So I do 3 times X, because that's how much I paid for the advanced tickets, plus 5 times X plus 30 should equal 2,630. So I combine like terms. First I distributed, so I get 3X plus 5X plus 150. 8X minus 150. So I end up with 8X divided by 8. Get X equals 310. So if at advance I sold 310, at the door I sold 350. So in advance, 310 were sold, and at the door, 340 were sold.